Hey, what's up, y'all? It is Alan Maldonado. Here we are, episode 7 of Bench. Allow me to introduce the main man, the great one, Coach Dave Miller. Say hello, everybody.
Alan, I appreciate that. I thought maybe you had a special guest coming in the way you announced me. I was like, who the hell is he talking about?
Listen, man, hey, you in Maui right now. You having a great time. I'm glad you able to hop on this thing and talk some Lakers, man. We got the W. Victory over the Clips. I know I just recently benched him, but yeah, I'm glad we got the W. Let's get into the game, Coach.
Well, it puts us in great standings. The fellas are 13-4, second in the West. And every time I watch this team play, when I see Luka, I see Austin, and I see LeBron, they have three elite passers and dynamic playmakers. And what impressed me the most is that Luka got off to that great first quarter. And we'll talk about Luka in terms of that. But the big three combined to score 99 points. So Luka got off. He scored 24 points in that first quarter. And it was great to see Austin. It was great to see LeBron just be patient. They sort of, it's like when you're watering a flower and the flower just starts to grow.
Yeah.
They continue to let him grow in that quarter. And, I think defense is still a problem with this team. But I saw, AR and Luka in their two-man games really start to get a nice rhythm. We'll talk about the other guys. I thought they really made an impact, but they played together and they shot 57% from the field, and they still lead since the last time you and I talked. They still lead the NBA in field goal percentage, which means they're getting great shots, and mid-range. They're struggling from three, but they're getting layups, they're getting rim runs, they're getting dunks, and they're getting to their spots. So a lot of good things. And most importantly, what I liked as a team, they beat the Clippers in fast break transition points 24-8. So I thought it was a really good connected team that came out and they were all on the same page.
So what do you? It was pretty close up until I believe the third, and then the Lakers kind of broke free. What do you think made that? What adjustments did they make that they finally got that distance and grew the lead and to the final result of, I believe, it being 135-118?
You're right, spot on. I think it was Austin Reaves. He had 31 points, 11 for 16 shooting, but he had 18 points in the fourth quarter. So I thought he really put the team on his back, which again, we talk about him, getting paid eventually and getting a bigger bag.
Oh yeah.
But he's playing like an all-star. And we thought his numbers were going to, drop a little bit because you're getting LeBron James back. But again, I've seen these guys now. They're picking and choosing. They're not pressing. And I just thought, this is Austin Reaves is the guy that I've always thought of. I mean, he leads the Laker in fourth quarter points, and that's what I think was the difference in that game.
And before we get into the big three of the Lakers, I want to discuss the final moments of the fourth quarter when Luka had the little incident with Dunn. What's your thoughts on that? Is it just the frustration, or Luka was cooking them for 40? I guess what's your take on that moment or that little skirmish?
I think when you look at it in the totality of it, Luka, he hates the Clippers, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but I know this: his career average, versus 29 other teams that are that when he's not on those other 29 teams, he averages the most points versus the Clippers. And he likes to chirp, he likes to talk, and I love that if you can back it up. And I mean, right now, you're talking about maybe the greatest player in the NBA this season. I know we can dice up 3 or 4 other guys with them, but, watching the Lakers as much as you and I do right now, he's right there at the top. So what I liked about that incident, it's going to sound crazy, but I like Jackson Hayes. Jackson Hayes, is doing a lot of good things, and we'll talk about him. But the biggest thing is he's got his back, and he had Luka's back right away. And we all have everybody's back. But I always like when I see a team, and I don't ever want fights, and I think physicality is great to an extent, but not to put hands on each other. But Jackson Hayes came right up and had his superstars back, and that was the biggest thing I took from that. Other than that, it's like in the NBA, it's like, hit me. You push me first. No, you hit me.
Oh yeah, it's a shoving match half the time. Oh yeah. Yeah, no punches thrown.
I wouldn't say shoving. It's a love tap, right? I mean, it's not like the Showtime Lakers and the Boston Celtics. It's not like the bad boys in Detroit. The minute you would say to one of the bad boys in Detroit, "Hit me," that fist would be breaking your jaw. We've all been in bars and tough guys, you hit me. About the second hit me, the tough guy's going to knock you out.
I mean, listen, we're 13-4. We could easily be 14-3, but we took an L in Atlanta. We got the dub in the club. We're looking pretty good. With the return of LeBron, I think we've upped our scoring margin by like 11 points, and we're up to 127 now. Let's dive into the big three. Now that LeBron is back and we've got 3 games under our belt, they're looking pretty good. What's your thoughts about them?
No question. That was his best game of the 3 back. And again, it's going to be a process. And I told you, cardio is the most important thing to me. But he has 25 points, 6 rebounds, 6 assists. And that was by far his best game. And I thought, we talk about AR having a good fourth quarter. I thought LeBron had a really good third quarter. But with him, it's just step by step of getting cardio. Wondering if he's got that burst right now. I haven't seen it. I don't know if it's disappearing because of father time. I don't have anything to think that it is, because he's still in the phase of building that cardio. Because think about it. These games, 3 games, he's in his own exhibition season. You could even maybe stretch it a little bit and say this is his training camp that he's participating in front of, national TV crowds and people in stadiums. So it wasn't like the other guys that got that all in. Now, the good news is LeBron knows the system. He knows the terminology. Plus, he knows how to play the right way. But there's no question that I like him trying to fit in. And usually it's the other way around. The other guys have to fit around your superstar, and one of the all-time leading scorer. So he's picking and choosing. He studied this team for the games that he missed, and he's fitting in seamlessly.
I mean, listen, I think he had 25, 6, and 6. Austin Reaves had 31 and 9. He's rebounding. Luka 41 and 13 assists. Like 99
and don't forget
points.
The 9 rebounds with him.
Listen, 99 points. I mean, got 99 problems, but scoring ain't one. Yeah, scoring ain't one. I'm very excited to see what the big 3 do, and not so excited for the Clippers' future, which is something I want to talk to you about in regards to, like, what do you see as the bigger picture for those guys? Like, I know I was jokingly benching them the other day, but it's looking bad, Coach. What's your overall thoughts about the Clippers?
They're just not impressive right now. They're not defending the way that they defended last year, and Jeff Van Gundy sort of runs that defense. And I think Jeff Van Gundy is one of the best coaches to ever coach basketball at any level. They have no first-round pick next year. I think that's owed to Oklahoma City. So that's a problem for them. And, I just look out there and I'm like, I don't see the pieces fitting, number one. And then I just don't know where this team is going in terms of building the team, if you will. I don't know. If I'm a Clipper fan, I'm not too excited for the future right now. And, their record is not good. And for the longest time, while I was covering the Lakers full time, 82 games for Time Warner Cable, which is now Spectrum, the Lakers couldn't beat the Clippers. I don't have the numbers in front of me, but it was a long time that we had a drought going on post-game or doing a pregame show when they were playing the Clippers. And the Clippers just had their number. And right now, it's like you have the new arena. You have an owner that, has more money than God. And I just don't. I don't see it working right now. So there's no light at the end of that tunnel. They're going to have to make some changes, I think, personnel-wise, and they just the fit's not there for me.
I completely agree, which is why I had to bench him last episode, just being that it's time for them to blow it up. it's time for them to blow it up. The writing was on the wall when they didn't re-sign PG in regards to sort of their overall plan of the organization, building around those two, and that sort of massive trade that landed Shea in OKC. And what's even crazier is that I believe they have this year's first round pick. So like OKC is, I mean, that's why I had to bench them one episode just because they have positioned themselves so well. And being that they've only lost one game this season, man, that's our biggest nemesis moving forward. So let's go ahead and talk about the other guys. It was a team effort. Rob Pelinka got a lot of flack early on in the season about not having enough depth. But the other guys, you know, in the words of Shaq, are really stepping up and playing their position and being a star in their roles. What's your thoughts about that?
There's no question. I thought Jackson Hayes was phenomenal. He really impressed me in this game. We talked about him sticking up, having Luka's back, but I thought he put so much pressure on the Clippers with the rim runs and just getting up and down the floor. He's a lob threat. You put him in there, and the guys are looking. He's not gonna beat you with 2 or 3 post moves, which I think is unbelievable to make that statement about him. Because as good as he is, he does things you can't teach. But you have to have a game. You have to have 3 moves in the post, and then the really good post players. And again, I know we're moving away from inside. Everyone's positionless. But, when you have 3 moves, then you have 3 counter moves, and it's all based on taking what the defense, how they're playing you. Are they top side? Are they bottom side? Are they behind, or are they front you? But he's such a threat when the Lakers do such a great job of getting downhill on the dribble drive. He's there, and he just holds his position, hoping his man has to come help and stop the basketball. So I love him on the rolls. We talked about guys that roll hard, guys that roll soft. Amari Stoudemire, we called Hellboy because you had to get the hell out of the way.
Right.
Jackson Hayes is so aggressive on that roll game, but somebody's working with him on his short roll. They're hitting him with a couple pocket passes, and I think he's getting better there. And then I just like the way he defends aggressively. That's the one thing, the nemesis of the Lakers is aggressive defense and then the physicality, and I think he'll mix it up. He's getting better each game we see him.
And don't forget about Rui. I think he was 4th in scoring after LeBron. I think he had about 13, I believe. And his game has been consistent all season, man. He's been he's been picking up the change. He's been really finding his role behind the big 3 and still able to find contributions where he's needed at different times of the game. So really love what Rui's doing. But what about Maxi, man? Talk about Maxi. Talk about Marcus Smart. I think everybody's coming along. What's your thoughts on those guys?
Let's hit on Rui. Yeah, let's hit Rui first because you mentioned him, 13-3, like you said. He just does his job. And when he gets into the corner, he's there and he's got his feet set, his target hands are up, and he can knock it down. And then I like it that he also has worked on his game. And I think Phil Handy had a lot to do with this and in working with him in terms of how to attack closeouts. Marcus Smart was phenomenal offensively. We always talk about him being the defensive catalyst, and I don't think we give him enough flowers, but I thought the way he guarded Kawhi, he guarded James Harden, he always sets the tone, physicality. I told you there's pit bulls and there's poodles, and he's a pit bull, but he just gets up and he pressures the ball, he picks up, so he sets the tone every night defensively, but I thought he did some really good things offensively. Cleveland was okay, but he's just a guy that he does so many good things that they never here on a seat. And he's a great role player, and he's the type of guy we say in the league, star in your role. Got to hit a couple shots, he can hit a couple shots. I know this, if you watch off ball, and I think sometimes people that are listening to us, and hopefully they're pressing that subscribe button,
Come on,
benched, so that we can start to build this thing up and blow the roof off this thing. You watch Maxi. He's always in position to block out. I mean, kids should watch him. Watch off ball sometimes. Everybody wants to watch the ball. I like to have kids watch off ball. And, he can guard multiple positions. And, his numbers aren't always going to wow you, but his impact for winning definitely wows the coaches and his teammates.
Well, listen, man, I'm very excited at our record at this point. We're dominating in the paint as far as 2-point conversions. We got our next game coming up Friday, and that's against the Dallas Mavericks. And we hearing a lot of murmurs coming out of their organization saying Anthony Davis is almost ready to come back, even though I just seen an interview him saying are anticipating his return. What's your thoughts about our upcoming game against the Mavericks?
Well, there's a couple things that you have to do in life.
In the group stage, on Friday.
Siri just came in and interrupted. Go ahead, Coach.
Hey, this is where I draw the line. I don't mind if you interrupt me, because you're the host with the most, but if you're going to have Siri interrupt me, I hate to bring this up, but there's no way I'm going to let you use my trailer like you've been using the week I've been in Maui.
Listen, when you get back, you're going to find some new things in your trailer. That's all.
Well, I hope it's like Coming to America, okay? And I hope there's a hot tub in it. I hope there's a neon light that says Coach. And I'm going to be opposite of what they did. I'm bringing every woman I find, okay? Now, I don't think my girlfriend's going to like that, but I'm not trying to show you that I'm poor. I'm trying to show you I got Alan Maldonado.
Come on, that's right. But listen, Siri's excited about the game. So this matchup, I am. I mean, you got Cooper Flagg, you got possibly Anthony Davis, you got the entire Dallas fans just completely heartbroken with Luka being gone, man. I can't wait for Friday. What's your predictions?
The thing is, on a serious note, AD hasn't played since October 29th with that calf strain. So, they play the Lakers Friday, they play the Clippers Saturday. So, trust me, he wants to play the Lakers. And you always, I think it's a little bit, fans get caught up like, well, he's coming back to play there. He wants to kill them. NBA players that are winners want to kill everybody. And you know what? We're always going to use OKC as that benchmark. You talked about all the picks. You talk about them being our nemesis. Yes. They play every game like it's game 7 of the NBA Finals. And that's a culture. And that's a habit. A lot of guys can't turn it on or off. So, and I don't know if AD, he has never shown me that he has that habit. That's the reason where I say, man, top 5, top 10 talent, however you want to slice it. But can you be that alpha dog? And I always say there's a lot of Batmans and there's a lot of Robins. And he's a great Robin because every Batman would want to hang with him because he's not only a great guy, he's talented, he's skills, and he can get you 40 on any given night. It's just availability correct. Is his problem. But you mentioned one thing, and it made me think. You talk about Cooper Flagg. Wouldn't it be great that in the mix of this game, Cooper, and he's been playing better, and he's a rookie. He's supposed to have that learning curve. But think of this. You get LeBron and you get Cooper and you get them matched up. You have the youngest player in the NBA versus the oldest player in the NBA. To me, that's a storyline.
Now, with Cooper Flagg, they were early. I think he was having some difficulty early in the season when they had him running the point, and now they kind of have him more in his natural position. Being that you're taking on the task of being a rookie and now playing out of position, what do you think is the reason why he's now finding success?
because you put him in a position to be success. I don't think it's a problem. He's so skilled. He can take the ball. He can rebound it. He can push it. Teams that have multiple ball handlers and multiple skilled players, whether they're smalls or bigs, the greatest offense is to get a stop, which would be to block out, secure the basketball, and then you don't have to get it to a point guard. Anybody can bring the ball up the floor. So he's certainly skilled. I mean, he is a unicorn. He was one of the best, ready for NBA first year players in college basketball that I've ever seen, because he can do so many things. So, I would have liked to see them just, let him bring the ball up, let him initiate the pick and roll inverted like we always talk about. But to put him at the point guard position in the NBA, that's like putting you in a chance to fail. I wouldn't want to be yachting. Right. I wouldn't want to be yachting with you, and I'm out there swimming, or I'm out there on a raft, and you're throwing chum on the other side of the boat to circle the sharks. That's. And again, I'm not questioning what they did in terms of that, but I certainly would never put him out there to play the point unless all your point guards or all your lead guards or all your combo guards were sick with the flu and you had nobody there to do it. So I wasn't excited when I saw that, even though I know he can handle the ball. At his size, what he can do, he makes his dribble take you somewhere. He never really takes a bad shot. And he only knows one speed. He plays at game speed. So, I think he's on a great trajectory of getting to where he wants to be, which would ultimately be Rookie of the Year. Coming from Duke, the crowds are nothing to him. The fans on him are nothing to him, because when you're at Duke, you're hated because of their greatness and their brotherhood.
Now, Dallas is at the bottom of the standings, and it's looking, and although AD is salivating to return and play against the Lakers, this I know you hate to hear it, but is this another trap game, Coach? Because we've seen them lose focus in this. Although we are 13-4 and we can't complain because we've had to deal with injuries and the next man up mentality. But here we are again, where we may be up against another team that is undermanned and just a poor basketball team overall. What do you predict? How do we maintain our focus and get this W coming up?
It all starts on the defensive end. When the Lakers defend, and you and I talk all the time basketball, and I love talking to you about movies. I love talking to you about shows you've been in, or actors and actresses you've worked with. I mean, you're just an encyclopedia of having the Mamba mentality. I really wish Kobe was alive, because he'd be a person that I would have loved to introduce you to.
Man, same.
And he would have loved you. He doesn't take too many people at that inner circle, and I'm not telling you that he would have, but I know this: he would be very intrigued with you, because you're a lot like the people that he preaches to. No one can ever be Kobe. No one can ever be LeBron. You can't be, Shea, and the list goes on and on. You can't be Paul Pierce, but I always say you can be TJ McConnell.
That's right.
You can be a kid from Pittsburgh that went to Duquesne University, played so well, Arizona took him, does his deal at Arizona, and now he's a coveted backup point guard in the NBA. So,
Who do you think will be our keys to success against Dallas? Who do you think it will be? Of course, we have our big three, but out of those others, who do you think is going to explode to have a big game outside of our big three?
Yeah, I mean, what you're getting with them, but really you have to include them in the sense that it's everybody. Everybody in the sense, because number one, you can't turn the basketball over. And that's been a problem with the Lakers. Why do I say everybody? You can't have guys taking bad shots. A bad shot, someone said, well, that's a bad shot. The fan doesn't know what a bad shot is unless it's just a crazy, you throw it up and it's got no chance. The definition of a bad shot is a shot that your teammates have not seen you do in practice, a shot that your teammates don't see you working on after practice in terms of range, in terms of making your dribble, make you somewhere. So, there's guys that the four other guys on the floor know when a guy's got the dribble drive and he gets to a spot, he's going up to shoot. And we always say, do your work early. So that's the bigs trying to get inside position so that they can get around their defender that's trying to block them out, which is, everyday basketball. That's basketball 101. So, I think Marcus Smart has to really continue to bring that spark off the bench, the physicality, the toughness. Rui's got, again, to be uber aggressive. I'd like to see him get more rim runs so that he can get easy points. I always tell bigs, man, get 2 rim runs a quarter. That's 4 points. Right there, you got 4 times 4, you got 16 points if you can get 4 points. That's your double figures. Get inside, get some free throws. So Rui has to be big. We didn't even talk about LaRavia with the other guys. He's got to continue to do all the little things.
LaRavia.
The second you, and remember when we started this, you couldn't pronounce his last name, and I told you, the more you watch him.
Me and Edwards. We both got it. We both got it now.
And the rest of the arena.
Exactly. He hooping.
But he's got to step up, and again, I want to see Austin continue not just to lead this team in the fourth quarter. I want to see him, each of the big three impact the game. And what I like is they're trying to. We always say this: keep going to the well until it dries up. So a guy hits 2 or 3 shots, keep running his stuff. That's what CP3 has been so good of being a leader, of being a CEO on the court for the different teams that he's been with. And again, you could go back to Derek Fisher. Derek Fisher knew who's hot, who's not, who to get the ball to, what big was struggling that he's like, I got to get him a couple easy baskets to open up that rim. Because when bigs and wings start to score, it's just a fact, man. It's a basketball law that when you feed those guys, they play better defense, they set better screens, they rebound the ball, they outlet it quicker instead of trying to bounce it and pound the leather off. So again, this team has yet to prove the consistency for 4 quarters. We've seen great spurts of it. We've seen them close some games, but I don't like the turnovers. And then offensively, the floor balance and taking good shots, which their teammates understand are good shots, that's what sets them up for transition defense. Because when this team is taking good shots, getting back and defending, they get into a rhythm where they can go up and down. And I think the Lakers, Alan, need to play with pace. They need, they did it against the Clippers. It was 24-8, I think I told you when we started this podcast. That's a big differential. And what does fast break points do? It takes the pressure off your half court grind. Because every time you come down the floor and you have to execute, that's hard. It sounds easy, but it's really hard to do because the defense is trying to push you out. They're trying to make you catch it further away, and that takes away the rhythm of the offense. So this team has got to be a group effort. The big three can rotate who's going to lead them scoring, but I don't have stats, but like Luka's game stats, 43, you said 13 assists, and I threw in the 9 rebounds. He's averaging, I think, almost a triple-double right now. And you know what you're going to get for those 3. So the other guys, they need to stick to the script and star in their roles.
I agree. And we shot better behind the arc this game. I think it's about 45%, which I think we need to continue in order to beat Dallas as well. But listen, man, we're dropping this episode on Thanksgiving. So I think this is a perfect opportunity to ask, as a coach, what was it like preparing to play on holidays? And second question, is there like any special meals that you were prepared, or any special moments that would happen maybe pre-game or post-game a holiday game?
With the NBA, no. It's just a day at work, and you consider it a privilege and a pleasure to play on Christmas Day. I know you're talking about Thanksgiving. For college teams, it's different. Like right now, I'm out here. There were 8 teams in the Maui Classic, and most of the teams jumped on planes this afternoon. And a big shout out to USC. They won the Maui Classic. Arizona State, they played a lot better than most people thought they were going to play. They beat Texas in that first round. So there's a lot of teams here, and as soon as right now Texas is getting ready to jump on that private jet and fly back to Austin, Texas. So with the college guys, you have a team meal because they're flying back. Tomorrow's Thanksgiving. A lot of coaches like to do it at their house, because the assistants come over, the families come over, there's kids running around, and try and make it as realistic as being at home. Sometimes you have local kids, or, say, we'll use Texas, it's in Austin. There may be a player in San Antonio, and all the players drive down, to their house, and mom and pops puts on a Thanksgiving meal. But in the NBA, it's a work day. It's a pain in the butt, especially on Christmas. If it's an early game that you got to get up real early and you want to open all the presents with your kids like every other mom and dad do in the world. That's the great thing about having especially little kids. But, you just have to do it early, and then you got to get to the arena, and then you got to do your job. So, there's really nothing special in the NBA, and in college, you just try and make it very family-like, which I think most coaches do. And big props to coaches' wives.
Right.
Because coaches' wives are the ones that are the mom. They don't, have 2 or 3 of their own kids. They've got 2 or 3 of their own kids, and then 15 players on a roster, so there's, 17, 18 kids, and you want to make those kids feel at home, because it's a time to be thankful. And, you miss your family, and your family misses you. But, these kids are trying to win games, and ultimately they're trying to play to get into the tournament and make a run, and then go make that big money in the NBA, or some go overseas.
And as I try to get this question out, man, you're right now, you're in Maui. It's again the Thanksgiving Eve. You're there with your son, watching him coach and sort of continue this legacy that you started, Coach Dave Miller. Like, how does that feel? How does that feel? I know you're proud, but please take a moment to speak on that, because I think that is out of all the accomplishments. I know you talk about your Emmys and all these other things, but hearing the success of your children, please express how it feels right now that you're in Maui celebrating your son's success.
Well, I'll tell you, I have been blessed my whole life. I've told you this many times. Everything I've ever done and everything I've ever accomplished is because I have surrounded myself with great people. And I, just like everybody else out there, everybody that has kids, they're the luckiest dad or mom in the world. I am one of the luckiest dads in the world. And, I have 3 kids, one that's a college basketball coach, a son that played college football at San Diego State that now does commercial real estate in Scottsdale. And then I have a daughter who's a sideline reporter, just 2 years out of Cronkite School at ASU. And to be here, and I hate to get teary-eyed, and I always do when I talk about my kids, because there's no greater feeling than watching your kid be successful. But then more importantly, 2 of my 3 kids are doing what I've done my whole life, coach, and then, over 13 years of being an analyst in broadcasting. And, to watch him out there, it takes a village. We've all heard that. So, little Dave has been with Sean Miller as an undergrad, as a graduate assistant. Sean Miller gave him his start as a graduate assistant. Then he went with Avery Johnson to Alabama. He went with Joe Pasternak at Santa Barbara, Tim Miles at San Jose State. And then, Sean Miller took him to Xavier and put him in the Big East, which to me, growing up, was the best basketball conference. Right now it's the SEC that Texas is in. And back then it was the ACC, with all those great teams. But when I was growing up, the Big East, that was the conference. That was Monday night basketball, the Big East. So Sean Miller, has probably had more of an impact on my son than I have, because my son's been with him since his undergrad days in college, and he's 36 now. And it really chokes me up to watch my son be a recruiter, which I prided myself in. And he has a niche as an international recruiter. So he did that at Arizona. He's doing it here. He's got some really good players. And, then you look at the other assistants on the Texas staff, they're A+ people. They're quality people that Sean Miller put together. And I look out there and I go, man, I am so thankful that my kid is in the great hands of Sean Miller, the administration at the University of Texas. And I don't know, it's one of the greatest feelings in the world to watch him, on TV or in person and see the little mannerisms, because he's different than me. The game has changed. And I think his biggest quality is he knows the game for being a coach's son, but he knows what relationships are. There's nowhere I go to do a game in the country that someone doesn't come up to me and either know he's my son or say,
Come on.
the guy at Texas, the guy at Arizona, he looks like you, coach. Is that your son? And then goes on to say something good. I'll say this. I've never had anybody say anything negative about him in a business that is very, very negative. Well, you tell me, and I'm at the end. I'm going to tell you how thankful I am about you. I don't want to go there now. But who you tell me something, family member that you're just grateful and thankful for having.
Oh man, my mother first and foremost, man. She's my hero. She's the prototype of what hard work is. Being able to raise 3 children by herself as a single black woman in California, away from pretty much our entire family in Alabama and on my father's side, New York. Without her example, again, there's my mother, and then there's Kobe in regards to who has inspired the sort of ingredients of who I am, and there is no me without her. So being thankful it's not enough to sum up what the impact this woman has had on me, man. So thankful for my mother and everything that she was able to fight through and achieve in order to give me an opportunity to be here today. So I ask again. We go into as we in Thanksgiving and we're speaking about family. And you've given great advice for basketball, but as a basketball coach, what advice do you have for the fathers out there in regards to raising or having that opportunity to raise your children to follow in your footsteps in basketball? What would be your advice to fathers out there?
Well, I think it's to set the example, and that's what I just got out of hearing you talk about your mom. She set the example, and I want to digress as I usually do, but because you were talking about here in Maui of being thankful, but my mom is my hero. I grew up, I didn't have a father. He passed away when I was 1. So my mom was a school teacher, and she did everything. I think, she probably made $12,000 a year, maybe $8,000 a year when my sister and I were young, but she raised us, and she's my hero. When you said that gave me chills, because I just posted something on Instagram because I brought her out here to Maui. I like to take her somewhere every Thanksgiving to show her how thankful I am for her.
That's right.
And, it's my mom set the example where everything I ever wanted, I got. I have a Christmas list that she has framed where I think I was in 8th grade, and I said, the only thing I want for Christmas is a horse. And that was growing up in Allentown, Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Guess what I got? Guess what I got for Christmas?
Coach, you didn't get a horse for Christmas.
I sure did.
Coach, you got a horse for Christmas?
A pinto named Shoshone. He was flown in from, I think it was Wyoming. It was either land that's called Shoshone, or maybe they were Indians, or it was just.
You really got a pony for you?
Hey, my it wasn't a pony, but it was a horse. Like I said, she was my hero. because about 15 minutes from where we lived, it was called Little Lehigh Parkway, and they had stables, and the horse wasn't
Wow.
expensive. But back then, and it was, back then it was expensive, but like boarding was $100 a month maybe, and it could be
Right.
more. I was young, but she had to pay, like having a boat dock in Newport that's $5,000
Right.
to just park your boat every month. It was a stable, and yeah, she bought me a horse, and it was named Shoshone, and I had this horse, and another thing, she saved all her money. I went to Springfield College to become a teacher. I wanted to be a
Yeah.
high school basketball coach in Allentown, PA, at my high school one day. And so she said, well, you could go to East Stroudsburg State College, and it was probably like $2,000 a year. Or if I can save enough money, I'm going to send you to Springfield College, which back then, crazy when I tell you this, it was like 7 or 8 thousand. Now
Right.
college is 60 plus,
Yeah.
but back then it
Easy.
was a lot of money. So she bought me a brand new red Camaro to take to college
Come
as a
on.
freshman. Yeah. And so not that the things that she bought me made her my hero. It was her work ethic. It was her ability to save money. It was just she set me up. So to answer your question in terms of dads, I think on when I'm coaching, I call it sweat equity. How do you get players better? And again, I'll throw out Phil Handy because I think he's one of the best. A guy named Workentine that was one of Tark's guys, and he's still in the NBA. He's getting up there in the years, but he was the one guy, man, that would work out all the running rebels, and he would sweat. So I think when you work out guys, you got to have a sweat down on that gray T-shirt. So to be a dad with a parent that, let's just say, athletically, if they're going in that direction or even not, you have to set an example. You have to work tirelessly. You have to never use excuses. You've got to be honest with your kids. Parents can't tell kids the truth. That's the worst thing about AAU basketball, high school basketball. The parents have their glasses on and they're shaded. It's called family, or Laker fans, I say that, don't want to listen to what we all have to say when we tell the truth. I say, take off your purple and gold sunglasses. But you have to set that example. You have to spend time with your kids. And most importantly, whether it's a mom or a dad, because there's a lot of moms out there, like your mom, and I'm just going to make an assumption. She wasn't just your mom. She was your dad. She
Oh
was
yeah.
your counselor. She was your best friend. She was someone that you could go to speak to something that you might not with anybody else in the world. So you have to spend time with your kids. I preach at my camp during the week. Go home, Monday through Friday camp gets done at 3. When your dad gets home or your mom gets home, your stepfather, your grandfather, whoever is that person in your life, see if they can dribble the ball right hand around the right leg. And most of the parents can't, but the kid can. So now the kid has a big smile, and then you get your dad trying to do it or your mom trying to do it. And now you're starting to really strengthen and come together, and everyone's not scattered. But being an example with my daughter, this is great basketball information. James Worthy and Byron Scott. Sammy, when it was only in elementary school, and all of a sudden James and Byron are saying, when Sammy gets old enough, you got to take her out on dates. And I had never heard that before. I'm like,
Yeah.
what do you mean dates? And Big Game James said, you got to take her out on dates. You got to open the door. When she gets in the car, when you get out of the car and you park, you have to open it so she can exit. When you go into the restaurant, you have to pull the chair out. And I knew what he was getting at. But he said, this way there's a standard. This way it's a norm. This way she knows how a guy should treat her.
Correct.
And then Byron the same way when I worked with him. Byron was really big on teaching me because Byron had a daughter, and he was really, it's easy to raise sons, but I had never had a daughter, and there was a 10-year difference from my middle son to having Sammy, our third child. So, I think by setting an example, I think by being nice to people, like when you're at a restaurant and maybe the French fries are cold, there's a way to ask to get another set of French fries than to belittle or talk down to a server, because kids see that and they become accustomed. I can't stand parents that stand like this. I don't know if you can see it because I'm on my
Oh
little
yeah. Now I
phone
can
doing
see
this.
you.
But okay, to me, when someone stands like that, I don't want to talk to you. because you're already telling me that you're closed off. This looks like the person when I'm at the bank doing like 8 transactions, and yes, I do no online stuff. I have checks, and I go to the bank, and I'm doing this, I'm doing that, and I look back and I hear this, or stamping of their foot, and they're standing like this, and you can't believe how many kids stand like this.
Yeah.
Kids stand like this at summer camp. And I pointed out, I said, you can't stand like that. Basketball players stand like this with their arms down. When parents say, or the biggest thing, an adult to an adult says, what? Like if you said something to me and I just said to you tonight, not doing this podcast, what? To me, that's like saying F you. I mean, what human says what to somebody? You say,
if you say
me,
what, you can hear.
Yeah. Well, usually I say your mama, and that doesn't go over too well.
Yeah.
But
listen, man.
Those are the things, man, that I think you have to be an example, and kids watch you, and kids see how you treat other people, and kids haven't changed. I'll leave you with this one on this topic. Kids haven't changed at summer camp. I see hundreds and hundreds of kids all the month of July. Kids have not changed. They want discipline. They want rules. They want regulations. They want to be coached. Kobe Bryant wanted to be coached. Mm-hmm. Kobe Bryant loved every day Tex Winter got him in front of that laptop or that computer or just on the floor, and Jim Clemens, Frank Hamblin, and taught. Kobe wanted to be coached. Great players want to hear the truth. It's the so-so players and their parents that can't handle the truth because they don't ever want to hear the negative. Hey, Alan, with Thanksgiving, the one thing we talk so much basketball here, but with football, I'm going to give you a couple games, and I want you to tell me who you're going to pick. I'll tell you who I want.
Okay,
but
give me the game.
There's going to be some great football games. Packers, Lions. Who you got?
Oh, I'm going with the Lions.
Me too. That's an easy one.
With the Lions. Yeah, that's an easy one.
Chiefs, Cowboys. Who you got?
I'm going Cowboys. Shout out to my boy Jackie Long here, huge Cowboy fan. He lost his mind last Sunday, or was it Monday when they won? I know the Chiefs have been up and down, so I'm gonna go Cowboys.
Well, you might have been smoking something other than a cigarette and listening to Kid Rock. I want to be a cowboy, baby, because the Chiefs are winning that game. No doubt.
Okay, we gonna see.
Okay, remember the last time we made a bet? You already owe me dinner.
I know. We not betting on this one, but I'm okay. All right. That's a good one.
Let's go double or nothing on that bet. You're taking the Cowboys. I'm taking the Chiefs. We're double or nothing.
I'm not betting on the Cowboys. I refuse. Nope. I'm not taking that. Nah. I ain't betting on the Cowboys. I'm not. I got my glasses on, but they not the Cowboy glasses. I tell you that right now.
I was trying to get you. I know you were born at night, but you're going to tell me you weren't born last night.
That's right. That's right.
Last one. Let's go Bengals, Ravens.
Ravens. I'm going Ravens. I seen Lamar Jackson. He had a comment saying that he'd rather be home eating food on Thanksgiving, and I appreciated that because who wants to work on Thanksgiving? So but I know he's gonna go out there and have a great game, and he's always incredible during the season. He's had some playoff woes, but I'm excited to see him play tomorrow.
All right, that's that. Let's talk about this. What's your favorite Thanksgiving food on the table? One thing.
Oh man, my favorite Thanksgiving food is easy. The star is macaroni and cheese. Now there'll be full fist fights break out if the mac and cheese ain't right, or somebody that can't make the mac and cheese was appointed to make the mac and cheese. Everything else, is just sidekicks. They all Robins to the Batman of mac and cheese. Turkey, ham.
What's the one food that you could do without on the table, or you just don't like and you won't eat?
I could do the turkey. I know it sounds crazy. The turkey. It could be farewell to the turkey. You can give me the ham. Now I've had some nice deep fried turkeys. I will say that, but out of everything, because I need my stuffing in my cranberry though. I need the stuffing in the cranberry. But what about you? What's your star dish during Thanksgiving?
Well, mine is the stuffing. You hit that. And I'll also tell you, the one thing I can do without is the cranberry. I've never had cranberry other than when I was a little kid. I cannot. If you put cranberry on the plate, I'm trying to slide it off the plate.
You don't put cranberry on the stuffing?
No. I put homemade gravy. And I'll put an extra little bit of butter. So, yeah, I won't eat it dry.
Okay, I'm about to say, you can't be raw dogging stuff, Coach. You can't be doing that.
No. But I cannot stand cranberry. Oh.
Okay. All right. I guess
What's your favorite? No, we're not cutting this short.
Okay, give it to me.
You have me missing a luau on the beach. What's your favorite Thanksgiving? Hey, man, I'm the only guy at the Maui Classic that's doing a podcast because I love you and Mark.
I know. Everybody else is already drunk. I know this.
Yeah. And I haven't had a pina colada all day. What's your favorite Thanksgiving movie?
Ooh, my favorite Thanksgiving movie, man. Although I was in one of the sequels, Friday After Next, the original Friday is always a good one to throw on for Thanksgiving. Although it's not Thanksgiving theme, it's definitely a movie that no matter who's over at the house, we all gonna sit down and watch it together. And sometimes with some of the younger kids, it may be some of their first time watching it. So it's almost like a passing of the torch to the other generations of this particular classic film that we all grew up on and embraced. And I was fortunate enough to be in the third iteration of it. So shout out to Ice Cube. It's like we do a film like every 10 years. I did Straight Outta Compton with him right after that. So we almost at another 10-year mark, Cube. So holla at your boy. You already know. Yay. So what's your favorite Thanksgiving movie?
I just wanted to try and stump you because I never heard any. Everyone says, "What's your favorite Christmas, movie?"
Right,
and we'll get to Christmas. So, there's just certain movies like that I can watch, like Training Day. I can watch every day. I love every Denzel Washington movie. I always like when he says to Officer Hoyt, like, "You want to go home or you want to go to jail?"
That's right. Don't forget the Equalizer. Don't forget the Equalizer, because I was in the Equalizer, so I'm a little biased.
I did not know that.
Yeah, I'm a little biased about that Denzel film. Yeah. I was in that, so that's definitely got to be at the top of your list now, at least.
And then I love to watch Pretty Woman because in the sad parts I always cry.
Oh, come on, Coach. That's how you get the ladies. That's how you get the ladies.
Yeah,
I see you, Coach.
I always had a crush on Farrah Fawcett Majors and Richard Gere. I know that sounds a little weird.
What? I don't know if I want to touch that, Coach.
You don't have to. It's in the purest sense.
That's right.
I always thought Richard Gere was just one of my favorite actors, and when I saw him, I was just like, man, that's a good-looking dude. He's a movie star.
That's
right.
And
then Farrah Fawcett Majors, I fell in love with because I had her poster in that red one-piece swimsuit that every dude had in the world in my college dorm room.
I mean, listen, I'm not mad at you, Coach. I'm definitely not mad at you. Definitely not, man. Well, yeah, let's get into it. Let's get into the bench. What we all been waiting for. This week's bench, Coach. I like to let you go first. Who you got this week?
I have the NBA. I want to bench the NBA for whoever.
The NBA? What are you? I'm sorry.
Not the players.
The NBA.
Not the players.
Go, Coach. Tell him, Coach.
I want to bench the NBA for these new floors. And I love these new floors that they're putting in, for these games. But Luka came out and said that it was slippery. Mm-hmm. Luka came out and said it was dangerous. And right now, Luka is the Los Angeles Lakers, no matter how you cut it. No disrespect to anybody. So if Luka says it was slippery, if Luka said it was dangerous, I'm benching the NBA. I love the colors. I love the new design, but I'm all about safety. And we can't have anything happen to Luka. So the NBA, you're benched. Quit having slippery courts. I love the designs.
Yeah,
Who are you benching?
I seen a lot of people tumbling, and not just the Laker game, but in other games. So I'm pretty sure they gotta get that handled quickly before an actual injury happens, and then the NBA won't be benched; they'll be sued. So this week I'm gonna bench another organization. I know I'm back to back. I'm benching the Pelicans. Now, you probably wondering why. Whoa. Why the Pelicans? Why the Pelicans? For trading Brandon Ingram, who is killing it right now. Just hit a buzzer beater tonight. The Raptors are on a 9-game winning streak. They are the darlings of the East right now. And you traded this man. And I understand Zion is getting back in motion, but that's always the case. You had a true star in Brandon Ingram, and he is showing himself and showing the world. Now he got Glorilla. He doing this thing. So shout out to Brandon, but I'm benching the Pelicans because y'all let one go.
Well, wait a second then. You got to bench the Los Angeles Lakers because they let Brandon Ingram go.
Well, listen. I mean, that's you bringing up the past. You bringing up old news. You bringing up old news, coach.
You can't, Alan. You
bringing
can't
up old news, coach.
You can't predict the future and talk about the future if you don't bring in the past. So if you're gonna bench New Orleans, you got to bench the Lakers.
Well, I'll say this is because they had a choice whether to trade Zion or Brandon Ingram, and I'm saying that I think the better choice was to keep Ingram and get rid of Zion. You know, I love Zion, but he's just too injury prone. The focus is. You
love him, but you want to kick him out of the locker room.
I could say that if they had Brandon, I believe their record would be better. I believe their record.
Thought you were going.
What you thought, Coach? What you thought?
I thought you were going to bench Brandon Ingram for a second time because he threw the water bottle and he hit the 76er and turned it in the head.
Listen, if he keep playing this well, he can hit somebody in the head every game. Because they on a 9-0. I'm sure that's a part of the routine. That's a part of the routine now.
Because you play basketball where everyone gets a concussion and everybody gets hit in the face. I don't forget our episodes.
Listen, I'm trying to say, I played with athletes that did a little time in jail. That's all right. It's all right. It's all right. We played a little rough.
You did tell me about that guy. You did tell me about the guy that led your team in steals. So I looked up stats, and I didn't see him on the roster. And then I looked up at the courthourse, and he had been arrested 119
breaking and entering.
For
yes,
stealing.
Breaking it. Yeah, B&E. He was a champion. It's 5-time back-to-back B&E champ. So he led the league 5 years in row steals. Yeah. Those are the guys I play with. So I like the physicality. Go ahead, Coach.
Let me get it serious because we got to get out of here because I'm going to be in big trouble with my family.
I know. But I appreciate you, Coach.
Let's end it on. I appreciate you. Let's end it in terms of appreciation. I want to know it's going to be Thanksgiving when this posts tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So I want to know what you're most thankful for. It could be one or two things. It could be three things. Short, quick hits. Wow. What are you most thankful for?
Man, I've almost died twice in there. I'm not going to go dive into those stories, but the idea of not having another second has always been at the forefront of my mind after those incidents where every second I get an opportunity to pursue my dreams, my day-to-day life, man. I've never lost the appreciation of waking up every morning. And that is what I'm most thankful for, is although my road has been a tough one and one that I've had some challenges, even again, as I mentioned, I almost died twice. it has made me who I am, and I wouldn't change a thing. So I'm thankful for every second I get to be behind this mic, get to share this podcast with you, get to share the screen with phenomenal actors, get to paint, get to make music, just get to be me in so many different mediums, and also impact and inspire so many others.
Well, I have to tell you, you definitely inspire me. It's, we've talked about my family, my mom being my hero, my kids, doing what I do, the family business. The secret to my success, it's not a secret. I surround myself with great people. So whether it was in college, the NBA, for over 3 decades, I have been around some of the greatest players and some of the greatest coaches, head coaches, other assistant coaches, and I'm really, really thankful. I don't believe in accidents. I'm really thankful that God has connected you and I, because I knew you from being on the screen. I knew you from the different shows that I liked, and you match my energy. I think you might exceed it, and you're good at everything you do. But most importantly, you're just a good man, and you're a great role model. And so I'm very thankful that we have a chance. Mark at Manhattan Beach Studios, or Rosh
Come on,
Markazi,
Manhattan Beach
sort of
Studios.
our
Shout out to
team.
Mark.
The gals behind the scene that never
Yeah.
get enough credit. They're great, but and I'm thankful. I'm thankful that we get a chance to get on here and we get to chop it up. We get to cut it up. We're going to give you information, and we never say anything that we want to make anybody mad, but we want to keep it 100. We want to keep it real. But you really make this fun, and like I said, there's no more of a proof that I'm on vacation in Maui, and we've done 2 of these. And, it's not hard work. We get here and we chop it up, but it's being
Yeah.
away from family. But you also make the ride, an hour ride to Manhattan Beach to get here to do it. And Mark's been there all day. So I couldn't be more thankful to be on a great team, and hopefully to kick this thing bench and take it to a level like no one has ever seen. So I just want to thank all you guys. I love you all. And this has been a fun 7 episodes and a fun 7 hours of getting to know you, because I consider you a brother, a younger brother that I really
with a
think,
little more hair. With a little more hair.
Okay, you didn't have to. If you go to the hair, I'm going to post my trailer aside of yours again.
Okay, well that's the great moment to wrap this up. We are wishing everybody at home, everybody watching, a happy Thanksgiving and an incredible time with your family. Please follow and subscribe. And this concludes another episode of Bench. Peace.